also remember those who are living on the street shelter. We will also bringing back their loved ones. We also remember those who are serving in the military. We will also remember their families. We also say a special prayer for those who are suffering from alcohol.
All right, Cliff, whenever you're available, make sure your mic is turned on. And also, so if any of the council has any questions too, as he presents, just raise your hand and I'll acknowledge you, give you the floor. Whenever you're ready, Cliff, go ahead.
Good morning, Tribal Council. Thanks for the opportunity today. I've got a couple of action items today. I laid the report on your desk and I did email this out yesterday also. So we'll just kind of read through that real quick. The BRIC grant application documents, the SWO DOT working with the SWO Emergency Management Services Office will be submitting to the annual FEMA Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities Grant for a scoping and engineering project, which will be used to create construction plans for the reconstruction of the Goodwill Township roads located around the Agency Village area of the old Agency District. With this project, we'll be able to design and the replacement of the culverts along this route. Also, road construction to include reshaping, graveling of up to 8 to 10 miles of these township roads. This will reduce flooding, washouts, which have been the case for years along this route. This grant has a required 10% match for funded projects. The SWO DOT will utilize the Federal Tribal Transportation Program roads construction funding for this match funding of $16,11650, plus the BRIC grant funding of $145,048.53 for a total project of $161,165.03. And I did put a suggested motion number 1 to approve the SWO DOT match assurance letter and supporting SWO Tribal Council resolution required to submit to the FEMA build BRIC and program discretionary funding and SWO Tribal Chairman signature authority.
Floor is open for discussions, questions from council.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
So moved on motion number 1 by Old Agency.
Second.
Second, Tokenowa.
Question.
Question by Curtis.
Yes.
Yes.
A. Lydia Amos,
Yes.
Louis Johnson,
Yes.
Dion Crawford,
Yes.
Curtis Bissonnette,
Yes.
Brandon Gypsy-Wana,
Yes.
Tribal Secretary.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, the motion passed.
Thank you, Cliff. Anything else?
Thank you. Curtis was asking about the resolution, but they're both the match letter, the match assurance letter, and the Tribal Council resolution are in that motion. So, thank you very much. That's all I
Thanks,
got
Cliff.
today.
Appreciate the work that you do for us.
Huh?
Appreciate the work that you do for us, so
Oh, thank you.
keep it up.
Thank you very much.
And you're always good. If you have any questions, you're always good to come to my office and you ask those. So I
For sure.
appreciate that. And just for the new council that if you have any questions with Cliff, yeah, if you need some understanding on what his projects are, just ask for a roundtable. We'll get those addressed.
At any time, I'm
Yeah.
always available. I will be available. So,
Thank you, Cliff.
Appreciate
Motion
it.
to
Thank you.
approve,
Motion. For number 2, Mr. Chairman, on our agenda.
okay, motion to approve Department of Transportation by Kakiza Haska. Is there a second? Second by Dion, representing Lake Traverse. Question, Buffalo Lake. Got Louis Johnson.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Thank you, members of council and tribal secretary. Going on to Dakota Western, is he out there? Curtis, can you look? Or Jesse?
Mr. Chairman, I got a question. CCC Construction, they wanted, apparently they need some motions. When can we put them on the agenda? We don't have them on the agenda, but they're willing to come in today. You want to just do it at noon?
Thank you.
Whenever you're ready, Robert, I'm going to turn the floor over to you for your report, for your action items.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late here. It's been a crazy morning. Everything that could go wrong has, so kind of a few minutes behind, but to start off, Envision, as you know, Envision is pretty important to us. We had our first biannual review. This is something new that they just started. It's all virtual for now, but it kind of reviews where we're at with them and what they see us doing and where we can improve. Everything is pretty good out of the 4 or 5 categories besides our returns. Our returns were bumped up this last year due to an unknown print issue. We didn't know they were having issues printing some of the film with the print on the inside, so that drove up our returns with them. Other than that, the other areas that they looked were all pretty good. The good news with Envision, we're up above the pounds that they committed to for right now. So we're doing better, I guess I should say, that better than we expected with them, with everything else going on. Our freight costs to Envision has been up in the, probably the last 6 months or so. We thought it would come down this winter, and it didn't, so we kind of started looking around for a different broker, and that has kind of corrected it somewhat. It's not what it used to be, but it's a lot better than what it has been. Probably $400 to $500 a truckload difference between just changing brokers. On the conversion side, I can show you the charts. I kind of laid out where we're at this year and where we were last year. But the conversion side is down about 400,000 pounds for last year, and that's just about equally split between our two large customers, McDonald's and EchoSafe. And it's just due to what's happening in the world today. The good news on the side of EchoSafe, they're working with a potential new distributor. And this kind of falls in place with our business direction with them. You know, the more distributors they have, the more sales they have in the U.S., I should clarify that, it comes directly to us. And he also let me know the other day that they're close to getting a nationwide deal with one of their current brokers, or distributors, sorry. This distributor's in the Northwest more so, and we do ship to like Portland, Seattle, with decent volumes, but if we can gain the rest of the U.S. with that same distributor, he believes it's $1 million for them. So, I mean, that would be a huge increase for us if they can close that deal. I'm just going to jump down to the equipment and other, and then we can go back over through the charts and kind of show you where the pounds and sales are after that. Line 4 is, some of you may not know, but we've been replacing equipment. Line 4 is our third line to be replaced, and that should be here within the next couple of weeks. Part of it is actually here, but hopefully have it installed and up and running within a month or so. I just put a note before I jump up the Dakota Crossing. The winter COVID, just to let you know that we're just gonna have to maintain through the winter here. Winter's generally slow for us anyhow, and coupled with the COVID, you know, it even makes it worse. But we've been maintaining so far. I think I brought it up last month or the month prior. I guess it would have been November that, you know, we'll keep everybody employed. It may not look good on the financial side of it, but we do have the funds to cover the payroll. It brought up from back to Dakota Crossing that our health insurance broker mentioned something about the crossings would no longer need health insurance. And since they fall under our policy, I guess, is that just hearsay, I guess, or?
That's just hearsay so far because
Okay.
the council never made a decision of ending that.
Okay,
Sure.
that's what I want to make sure, because I think she was already going to start redoing our policy, but I'll just have them hold off
Yes.
now and just leave it as is.
Curtis, then I'll give you the floor back there.
What was the motion you made prior to your insurance stuff before in the past? I know that was in question after you made that motion, so.
I think it was the switch brokers at the time.
Because from the understanding I got was the other for-profits weren't in agreement and they weren't even consulted with when you guys made that decision.
But this is coming from Jolene, but a lot of it was back and forth. It was wish-washy. At times they were agreeable, and then when it happened, they turned around and said, well, no, we didn't. No, we weren't.
And Mr. Chairman, I think that was prior to you coming in, but there was a motion made to go with somebody else, and the questions and concerns I got was the other for-profit managers were not consulted with prior to making that motion. So when Mr. Huff came in the next month, we had him make sure they were talking to the other for-profit managers and making sure everybody was on the same page.
Okay.
So that was from what I remember.
Okay.
Thank you.
Gypsy?
I just had a question. Do you have a listing of a breakdown of what your total tribal donations were? The community goodwill and tribal donations?
I guess I probably don't have that right now, no, but
Okay, because I'd just like to get a copy of that when you get back to your office.
Whenever you get
Yeah,
a chance, you
whenever, yeah.
come to the mic.
Yeah, I can break it down and let you know what's in there.
That's all I had, thank you.
All right, thank you, Gypsy. Yeah, you just make sure.
So, in regards to the other for-profit plans, it's only the Sanford Medical Center, Medical Health Plan that they're under with us. The other plans, they're under the tribe. They were consulted, and what I have found in my dealings with these different companies is that it's easy to say, oh, we didn't know about that. Well, they did. We've got the email documentation that they did. They were told that they needed to notify Sanford Health Plan that they were going to remove themselves from our plan. They failed to do so, and that is why they're covered under Sanford. In regards to Dakota Crossings, they're under contract to provide this information to Sanford until the end of the plan year, which is September 30th. So we are locked under contract until September 30th. They have been notified. They've been in all the email chains. Both Robert and I have documentation of trying to work this out with them and their refusal to do so. So we would be happy for them to separate themselves from us, but they need to do so in writing with the health plan.
Go ahead, Dion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know that in the past, we've had conversations, I think, maybe just amongst ourselves about the insurance, and so maybe this is a time where we can, because if the end of you said it was September 30th is the end of the contract for the insurance, September 30th?
So they need to let us know by June 30th,
Okay.
because we start negotiating our benefits in July for the upcoming year. So it takes months to get this all in place and to get the insurance company all the information that they need, employee censuses and all that stuff. It takes a couple months to get it all in place, especially when you're working with multiple entities. And so we usually start negotiating with our broker around June, July of the year, in order for all of that to be into place and be smooth when we transition on October 1st.
Maybe we need to start having a conversation about, looking at some of those issues with the insurance, because I've heard it pop up probably in the last 2 weeks, 7, 8 times, talking about insurance and looking at the numbers. So maybe that's a conversation we need to, just a suggestion, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Madam Vice Chair, since you're the chair of the for-profit board with the council, and Junior, just letting you guys know too, we kept it basically the same as last time for our for-profit board. Since our Madam Vice Chair is the chair, she's over the Mazaska, so she's gonna be the chair of that board, and we got Junior Kirk as the vice chair. So maybe we could set up a roundtable, or if you want to wait till our next for-profit meeting, maybe we can start working on those issues then. When's our next for-profit meeting? Excuse me.
We have to set a specific time.
Okay. We could set up a specific time for those and remain consistent on those days. And where to meet. I know we've been meeting over at the Connection, but I know a long time ago, we used to meet over at Dakota Western when I was a secretary, so. But it's gonna be up to the board wherever you guys wanna meet.
I'll schedule that for
All right.
council. We'll make it a reoccurring every month before we meet for Profit Day.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Any questions coming from leadership so far? Go ahead, Tokunawa, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I was looking, and so your distributor is trying to find a better deal out in Seattle for distribution. Is that what I was hearing there?
Yeah, Bunzl, our distributor, EcoSafe, that we produce the bags for, has Bunzel as a customer, and right now it's like one territory, mainly in the Northwest, maybe only 2 cities, but they're dealing with them to get a nationwide deal with them, so that, so we're not just one area, it would be covering the whole U.S.
And then, forgive me if I come off a little ignorant here, but how much say do you have in this negotiation process, you guys as a whole?
Between EcoSafe and Bunzel,
Yeah,
none.
none? And so are they the only ones who can distribute the bags?
No, they have many distributors. Yeah.
And then,
EcoSafe.
just out of curiosity, have we tried utilizing Indian preference on like South Dakota military bases?
Kinda. It's a tough go, and that's actually something that's not on here that I wanted to bring up, since we know now who, between Lisa and Junior, we are real close to becoming a minority business enterprise with a real number. So it was all good. We had this virtual meeting until they said, well, since you're owned by the tribe, we need the owners to be involved. So I'll probably be getting hold of you guys to do this virtual interview with the minority business development. Then I'd feel a lot more comfortable pushing that, because right now we just say we are.
Okay.
But once we get a certificate number, legit, then. And that's coming. That's real close.
All right, thank you. Look forward to it.
One more back on the tribal donations. I got turned around on donations and Goodwill. The tribal donations are all the elderly bags.
Okay.
So moving on, I guess the second page, this is the year-to-date extrusion monthly production. You can see we're down a couple of months and up above on the third month for December as far as pounds produced. In conversion, you can see we bottomed out when COVID come along in March, and we've kind of been there. I mean, it plateaued there, and you can see we're kind of starting out this year the same way as last year ended. Good news on that part is McDonald's is taking a few pallets of bags here and there. I mean, they went dead. I mean, from when COVID hit, the stores closed, then the bags sales were gone. I've been emailing a couple of different people in there, and it seems like they've now taken, I don't know, 8, 10 pallets, half a truckload in the last couple of months, which is an improvement. Our sales, year to date, again, we're down, obviously, and it's a continuation of last year. And I included the income statement and balance sheet of our last year, the fiscal year September. I'm sorry, turn that around. This is where we are year to date. For December, we showed a profit of $16,000. Year to date, we do show a small loss of $13,000. Compared to the prior year, we're up over $200,000 at this time. Moving on to last year's graphs. 2020 compared to 2019, we're down 100,000 pounds. Obviously, the second or majority of 2020 wasn't good. And again, you can see on the conversion one where we dropped April for the conversion. Again, this is 2019 versus 2020 on this one. And our sales, well, they follow the production. But however, we did finish last year, 440,000. again, this non-audited or not audited numbers, but it was a, probably a pretty good year for what was going on. That's all I have, if there's any questions.
Any questions coming from council or the executives at this time? If not, I am going to ask for a motion to approve the Dakota Western report.
I'll make that motion, Mr.
So
Chairman.
moved by Tokunawa. Second by Buffalo Lake.
Question.
Question by Old Latency.
Yes.
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 Thank you, members of council and executives.
Thank,
There's a question, there's a question back here by Jesse, and there's a question back here.
When Tony Hill was here, there was a plan for expansion, correct? For the Dakota Western.
it was talk at one point.
I don't know if there was ever a blueprint or anything,
No.
but we couldn't find any of that documentation of planning. But with CARES Act money that may be coming, that's probably what we should work on, because we need more storage, correct? Big time, we get.
Yeah, it's pretty full.
So that might be something planning to do, we could help that. It was initiated by Sonny Hill, who was the planning director. And I think we kind of snuck into, go to Western property with that gate there. But I also think we could go
South.
south and do some, fill in and expansion there. So something we could research.
No, that's good, though. Can you reach out to Matt?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find something that Sunny had going to, but
Yes.
might be just a couple of emails talking about it.
Appreciate it, Robert. Did you have a question back there? Go ahead.
I wanted to extend an invitation to any member of council that would like to come down and go over the basics of the financial statements that I provide for you. My financial statements are GAAP financial statements, so are the generally accepted accounting. And I'd like to go over them with you, show you what the different parts mean, and also to show you how that ties into our day-to-day operations and posting to our general ledger, so that you have an understanding of what all those numbers mean and where they came from, and also the checks and balances that are in place in an accounting system that you also have to check to make sure that the numbers you are reporting are accurate. So I just wanted to extend an invitation for anybody to come down, and I'll go through just the basics. I won't take a lot of your time, but just wanted to go over the financial statements with you and show you how they're produced and what goes into that. So that invitation is open to anybody, and just give me a call or send me an email, and I'd be happy to meet with you and do that.
Thank you for, go ahead, Madam Secretary.
How much time would we need to allot for that?
Probably 30 minutes.
All right, council, don't be all going out there at once.
Motion to approve Dakota Western.
I thought we already did that.
Not
You-
on here?
Yeah, you voted yeah to it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Well, he was still sitting there, so I thought.
It happened.
No, I thought we approved his report.
It happens.
I know. We usually approve his report and then we approve on the agenda, so that's what I thought. I know.
Where? When are we gonna be, this is, maybe I shouldn't ask this publicly, when are we gonna be getting our new sound system and stuff? Know when that is? Yeah, aren't we getting new microphones and stuff?
I think we made the motion to approve that and then they were gonna look into it, enough.
I could follow up.
With, I think it was with Marco? That company?
I know Verlin was working on it.
Maybe it's just me, but sometimes it's hard to hear. That's all. Don't. Just tell you he's gonna start roasting me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, that was all.
Thanks, Deanna, I appreciate it. One more last question she's raising up.
I thought I heard her talk about the accounting system.
No, it's a sound system. Sound.
It's hard to hear, right? So we're supposed
Yes, talking to the mic.
or something?
Okay.
Yeah, because I
I thought you said accounting and,
can't hear it if we're wearing masks, so it's hard to say.
thank you.
James, I appreciate you coming back, and also COVID survivor. I know you came pretty close of crossing over, but I appreciate you coming back and fighting as hard as you came.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming back to us and work that you'll be doing. Members of the new council that are coming in, this is Mr. James Bird that represents Fuel Inc. and Agency C-Store. Floor is yours.
Good morning, Tribal Council. As you may already know, I was out for a few weeks with coronavirus, and it's good to be back at work. I pray you all had a safe and blessed holiday season, and it's nice to see some new faces here. Fuel Inc. is still busy with the end of the year heating season coming to a close. Had some issues with breakdowns, but we were able to work through them and continue to deliver. As of this time, we have one propane truck delivering. Our other truck has some electrical issues with the hose reel, and we will hope to have that back on the road today or Thursday. And we were able to get that fixed yesterday. Okay. We also have a semi that is on the road but in need of repairs as it has an oil leak. We have one semi that is down due to an air leak, and our number 2 propane truck still has the clutch that's out. I got a hold of Gabe DeMars. He's a diesel mechanic, and he said he could fix that in-house. So that'll save some money taking it to the shop there. Office staff is busy answering calls from the customers, ordering propane to schedule furnace work or to pay on their account or to answer any questions they may have. They are also working on getting invoices to our customers' business and tribal programs. We have 2 office dispatchers in the office, both answering phones, and one working on propane invoices and one working on the bulk fuel invoices. Due to the COVID pandemic, our office doors are still locked to the public. If a customer needs to come into the office, they can call and let them know. The staff will see if it's something that can be handled over the phone, or they will open the door and have them practice our COVID guidelines. Fuel Inc. had a roundtable meeting with our tribal tax office to discuss the importer-exporter tax. Vice Chairwoman Lisa Jackson and Greg Bennett also attended. The meeting went well, and we're able to come to some agreements that will benefit both our programs. On Wednesday, August 26, 2020, the former Lake Traverse District Representative Francis Crawford had made a motion, number 106, for Fuel Inc. to receive 50% of the importer-exporter tax, and the other 50% would go towards paying off our new propane truck. When Fuel Inc. paid the SWO tribe for the propane truck, Francis said the full 100% of the tax will go back to Fuel Inc. But in the motion, it says for the fiscal year 2020. What I'm requesting today is for council to make a motion for Fuel Inc. to receive the full 100% of the importer-exporter tax after the truck is paid off for the fiscal year 2021 and to continue through to the following years after. Agency C-Store has been open through the pandemic also, closing only to clean and sanitize when there was a customer or employee that tested positive for coronavirus. Our deli also has remained open to service our tribe's essential workers with a place to eat, both breakfast and lunch, fuel their vehicles, and shop at the C-Store for any supplies they may need. As always, face masks are required for staff and customers to help stop the spread of coronavirus. If there's any questions,
Any questions coming from the council or the executives?
I got one.
Go ahead, Gypsy. Floor is yours.
Thank you. On the bottom of your income statements here, it says the actual period totals will change once information is entered and balancing is complete. When is the missing information going to be inputted?
you're on this page here?
Yeah,
Okay.
all of them, those first,
All the way at the bottom?
yeah.
Our sales or our finances changes regular or pretty fast. We have people coming in and making payments, and we have payments coming in. So, like right now, as we're sitting here, there's somebody could have did an ACH to our account, or I'm just saying it changes. That's why we have that at the bottom. But this is up to date before I came up here.
Oh, go ahead, back here. We got the Iapaha with the question.
Okay, so people can hear me out there too. You know, when the cold weather comes, there's people that always message me, text me, what's the number to Fuel Inc. to get fuel? And a few years back, we were starting the Wi-Fi for the reservation. And one of those things was to have Wi-Fi hooked up to the tank so Fuel Inc. would know how much percent is left in their tank, so that, you know, there'll be an understanding there that Fuel Inc. can call them and say, you're under 20%, you need fuel or whatever, because it seems like every time it gets cold, everybody runs out of fuel at the same time. And I know you get it a lot, James, because I know you're out on the road holidays, nights, and weekends. So would that help with your in that situation or those situations? Because I mean, it seems like nobody checks their propane percentage.
Okay, Tom. We had tried that for the last 2 years with the West Rock Industries. We had put monitors on some of the tanks, and then we offered, like for tribal elders, was installation was free, and we could monitor their tanks. And once they get to a certain percent, like 20% or so, we would be able to call them and remind them. I know we put some on the businesses, but only a couple of customers took the opportunity. And for the last 2 years before, we've been losing around $700 trying to get that up and trying to get customers to put a monitor on their tank. The opportunity is still there. We're losing money on it, so we just told them to stop it for now.
Dion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So is there potential for profitability, and is there anybody in the organization that does any type of marketing? Because I didn't even know that, and that would be something like, you know, because I think if you have, you know, especially an opportunity with the CARES assistance, I don't know, but it seems like probably people invested that benefit into Fuel Inc. So, you know, that might, to have that big credit and to have, you know, that might have been an opportunity. And I know that those times are past, but maybe, you know, looking at marketing some of that stuff, because I think not having to go out to your tank in the middle of winter would really interest some people.
Yes, it would.
Thank you.
there are some people that were really interested with our elders especially. The only one that really showed interest was the emergency management team. And that was at the end of last winter, but this winter we haven't heard if they wanted the monitors or not. So, but I agree, it is a good program, and if we could get people to interested in it, it is a fee of like, I think it's $6-7 a month, and that will be added onto their tank rental.
You can find a way to market that.
Yeah. We're interested. We're just, even if we could recoup our money, I mean, just to break even, it would still, it would benefit our elders, our customers, and it would benefit us.
James, for the listeners out there too, as well as the council, I know I'm always getting tagged on Facebook about the emergency number. So if you give out the emergency number for everybody again, even the council, so if they have any questions or they get tagged on Facebook, they could call that number right away for their membership. That'll be helpful. And also too, while you're bringing up that number, you're like me because I don't have a lot of numbers memorized. I got to go back and find them. But on the last your paragraph on there about that motion number 106, I'd like to just give us a little bit more time because the new vice chairwoman is working on that right now, setting up those meetings. So just give us a little bit more time. I don't know if you want to add anything on that, Madam Vice Chair.
Yes, I do. Just to update council, we have begun discussions as James has pointed out. We also have a meeting scheduled for the 4th of February. So we're still in the middle of discussion. And once we get to that resting place, then we can come forward with motions ready for council should we need them. And after the 4th, then our tax manager will be getting with her board and updating them and on what we've been discussing. So thank you, council. Thank you, James.
Yeah, you had your hand raised. Floor is yours.
I had a call this weekend from one of our district members, and she had run out of propane. And I gave her the 2 numbers to call, and she said it was on 0, but she said she could still hear her furnace going on. So she called me back and she said that she didn't get an answer on the 2 numbers. So I don't know if I did the correct thing, but I told her, well, I can't provide any other number. And if you want to call tribal police and see if they could help you. So that's what I did. Maybe I don't have the correct second number. So before you leave today, can I get that emergency number like on a
I will give you the number right now, then I'll also give you my cell phone number too. When I try to answer everyone that posts on Facebook before it gets all blown out of proportion and then we get thrown under the bus. But I usually give them our number and then I give them my personal cell number if they can't get a hold of anyone. But the number for the on-call is 605-268-2142. And then that is one of the issues we've had this year and the past years was people calling the council and the executives when they run out of propane before they call Fuel Inc. And some of them owe bills or they don't have the money to pay at the time. But we're requesting that you call either the on-call or call me on my cell phone. I'll give that out to you after the meeting here. Before you ask us to fill them. I mean, we went out in the blizzard last year and the person that called, or the council person that called, said they were empty. They were still at 20%, so they could have waited another 2 days. So I'm just saying, give us a call and let us know, or tell them they have to call Fuel Inc. And that would help us out.
Appreciate it, James, for clarification. Dion needs more clarification. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, and I'm not trying to be harsh, So I was just looking at the last page, October, November, that you reported a loss in October of 7,253, in November 13,627. I'm just wondering if you kind of know why and kind of what, what happened, because it seems like with that, being winter, that with the propane anyway, it would be
Which one are you looking at?
the very last page.
Very, very loud. That's the agency C-store.
This is the C-store? Okay, so that would just be the fuel and the food and the, okay. So do you kind of know why, what happened there? I don't know. Here, I'll show you what I'm looking at. I'm just curious. Yeah, I was just wondering.
This is for their, the agency C-store, this is for their, cost of goods and everything. It doesn't have, technically, it doesn't have nothing to do with fueling.
You just manage them?
We just manage them. They're their own program or their own business, but we just manage them. But we were looking at,
You're looking at the fueling one?
no, we were looking at, for, oh, what is it? There was one concern we had. If you look at October 2020, they had 185,000 coming in. Then on November, they dropped almost 40,000. And we couldn't figure out why. So that's what we're looking into, is there less customers or, but I have to get a hold of my program manager or assistant manager over there, discuss this with her. And then the next month it goes up a little bit again, but that was one of my concerns when I was looking at the financials this morning. And you have to excuse me because I'm still kind of playing catch up here for not being in for a while. And I still get out of breath pretty easy, so.
Okay, anything further, Dion?
I have no more questions.
Okay. I'm going to turn the floor over to Tokunawa.
So I was just curious, how has your marketing strategy been in acquiring new clientele?
For the agency C-store?
No, just for Fuel Inc.
Oh, for in general?
Yeah.
Right now we're just advertising. We have several advertisements in different local papers. The plat books that come around to Marshall and A, Roberts, surrounding counties. We do deliver some in Minnesota, and then we have a lot of customers for propane, but it gets really stressful because we have one new truck that we can depend on, but we have two other trucks that we can't really depend on. So try to get as many customers as we can, but it's kind of hard to keep up when you only got one truck running.
It was a little hard to hear you there, but you have one operating truck, is that what you said?
No, we have two operating trucks right now, and we're hoping to get the other one going here. One of the trucks is like 1996. That's the one that's down now, and the other one is a 2006 Freightliner. So they're old and kind of use their useful life up here for us, but we've been running with them since I started.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I was just curious on that. Because then I keep hearing more and more that people want to utilize Fuel Inc., but they feel like they are just not an aggressive strategy out there. And I mean, this is just me when it comes to marketing. Maybe just be a little more aggressive in price rangings. I mean, if we can get just like, 10 cents cheaper than a local competitor.
We do try to keep competitive pricing with the other propane companies here. One of the things we do come into is with the propane tax. Fuel Inc. is the only propane company that is mandated or required to pay a propane tax for tribal members on the reservation. And other propane companies that deliver, they don't need to, or they'll charge state tax. So, or they don't, if they don't pay tax, that's like 10, 15 cents less. They could sell it cheaper than we can.
I see, and that directly ties into that motion you asked.
Yeah, and we've discussed it with the tax office. We just want a level playing field. If they do it for one company, they should do it for all the company. But that's been something that's been going around for a long time.
Well, thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Anything coming from council or the executives for James for his report, Fuel Inc. and Agency C-Store? Yeah, Gapta, floor is yours.
I had a question about, would we be able to utilize COVID funds to assist in the repair of his equipment on an emergency basis? Because there are people that are sick in their homes with COVID. Wouldn't we be able to, would that fall under an emergency?
If I remember right, we tried that, James, didn't we?
We brought that up last year when they first started getting the COVID funds, and we were told they couldn't because it's a vehicle, and I think the other ones were for buildings or something, or supposed to be utilized for something else. But yeah, we couldn't utilize any of the COVID funds for a truck.
Anything else? Yeah, Gapta, the floor is still yours. Okay, thank you. If there's no further questions or comments coming from council, is there a motion to approve the Fuel Inc. and Agency C-Store report?
A motion.
A move by Tokanoa,
Second.
second by Old Agency,
Question.
question by Kakaiza Haska.
Yes.
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 Curtis Bissonette. Yes. Brandon Gypsy Wana.
Yes.
Floyd Kirk Jr.
Yes.
Tribal Vice Chairwoman.
Yes.
Tribal Secretary. Mr. Chairman, the motion passed.
Thank you, members of council and the executives. Is the I-29 motel manager out there? If not, we'll go into Dakota Crossing grocery store manager. And they're both acting managers.
Yeah, I will give you a call.
Thank you, council, and I look forward to working with you in the next year or so.
Well, since the acting manager I-29 motel and the Dakota Crossing acting manager grocery store is not here, we could take a little break, a 7-minute break, then council. If not, if they're not going to be here, we could call upon D&G corporate report to come in.
One break?
by Curtis.